I worked as the night manager at a small roadside motel for about 8 months while I was saving money to finish college. It wasn't the kind of place people stayed for vacations. Most of our guests were truck drivers, travelers passing through, or people whose cars had broken down on the highway. There were only 12 cabins, lined up in a straight row. Cabin 9 sat at the very end. For some reason, it was almost never rented. I asked the owner about it once. He just shrugged and said people didn't like being that far from the office. I believed him, at least for a while. One rainy Tuesday around 11:30 at night, a man walked into the office asking for a room. He looked exhausted. His clothes were soaked from the rain, and he carried an old leather backpack. I checked the computer. Only cabin 9 was available.
I'll take it.
I handed him the key. He thanked me and walked into the rain. That was the last time I saw him. About an hour later, the office phone rang. The caller ID read, "Cabin 9. I answered. "Front desk." Nothing. Just static. I waited a few seconds. "Hello?" The line went dead. I figured it was a bad connection. About 20 minutes later, the phone rang again. "Cabin 9. This time, I immediately answered. Again, nothing. Only static. Then, very quietly, I heard someone whisper, "Don't come here." The line disconnected. I sat there staring at the phone. Part of me wanted to laugh it off. Maybe someone was trying to scare me. Then the power flickered. Outside, the rain became even heavier. 5 minutes later, the phone rang a third time. Cabin 9. This time I didn't answer. It kept ringing, over and over, until it finally stopped. About 10 minutes later, I noticed something strange on the security monitor. The camera pointed toward cabin 9. Its porch light was off. But someone was standing outside the door. They weren't moving, just standing there, facing the cabin. I assumed it was the guest. Maybe he was smoking. I zoomed in. The image became grainy. The figure looked wrong. Its arms seemed unusually long. Its head tilted slightly to one side. Then, without warning, it turned toward the camera. The screen filled with static. Every camera in the motel went black. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside. The rain soaked my clothes almost instantly. The entire motel was silent. No cars, no voices, just rain. When I reached cabin 9, the door was slightly open. I knocked. No answer. I pushed it open. The room was empty. The bed had never been slept in. The bathroom was dry. The backpack was gone. The only thing inside was the room key, lying in the middle of the floor. Then I heard it, the office phone, ringing, even though I was almost 100 yards away. I ran back through the rain. By the time I reached the office, the phone had stopped. The caller ID still displayed cabin 9. I checked the registration card. The man's name was gone. The line where he'd signed was completely blank, as if no one had ever checked in. The next morning, I told the owner everything. He listened quietly. When I finished, he opened an old filing cabinet.
He pulled out a stack of faded incident reports. Each one mentioned cabin 9. Late night phone calls, empty rooms, guests who disappeared before sunrise. Then he looked at me. I told the last manager not to.
I asked him what happened to the guest. He didn't answer. Instead, he walked outside, unscrewed the number from cabin 9, and replaced it with cabin 10. I looked confused. "There was already a cabin 10, I said. He nodded. "There still is." I counted the doors. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8. Then 10, 11, 12. There was no cabin 9 anymore. I quit that same afternoon. About a month later, I drove past the motel on my way home. Curiosity got the better of me. I slowed down just enough to count the cabins again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cabin 9 was back. Its porch light was on, and standing outside the door was a man holding an old leather backpack, looking directly at the road, as if he had been waiting for someone to stop.